for Devin Jones, putting an end to Devin's unbeaten record and improving his own record to 9-7. Wow, Dean, where do we go after that? 21-second knockout. Wonder if we'll see the same kind of fireworks when Zach Blaber and Andrew Buckland make their way to the cage.
Yeah, it's very looking forward to this fight. I'm very intrigued by him. Zach Blaber's had some time off. He went through a couple opponents. They couldn't find a fight. In steps Andrew Buckland. They do a catchweight fight at 95. Buckland weighed in at 89 even. Zach didn't have a problem making it the catchweight at 95. I know Zach wants to get down to middleweight, but coming off the layoff, taking a guy like Andrew Buckland is a very tough matchup for anybody.
Andrew's one of the solid journeymen in the Canadian MMA scene. You know, coming into the fight with a record of 15-9-1, he's fought some of the top guys in the country throughout his career. Ryan McGilvery, Jordan Meehan, all the way to David Loiseau, Dan Hornbuckle, John Alessio. He's been there and done that. And so for Zach to come in here and try and take on a guy who's won 4 out of his last 5 fights, it's a big fight for Zach, but I think he's up to the challenge as he's coming in on his own hot streak of 5-0.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the cage, Andrew Buckland. Now you touched on it, Dave, with the experience of Andrew Buckland, and he's a tough matchup, but you know, very impressive win. You talked about he's beaten Admin Homage, you know, Kato Allen, Matt Baker. His last fight he lost to Jamie Toney, who's a very tough individual, but that fight went the distance. And you look at not only the fight experience, but the in-ring experience as far as time, you know, decision, late into the 2nd round, into the 3rd round. Andrew Buckland, when you talk about a veteran, that's exactly what Andrew Buckland is.
Well, and that fight against Tony was fought at welterweight, 170. And Andrew, he's moved around the weight classes throughout his career, but really as he's grown up and matured as a fighter, I think 185 is a good home for him. He just looks so, he didn't look like he had enough in the gas tank come the 2nd and 3rd rounds of that last fight. And I think a lot of that comes from the weight cut. He stays here if he stays at 185, whereas is the case tonight, fighting in a catchweight of 195, it should serve him really well.
Yeah, and he weighed in at 189, so obviously didn't have to cut weight. If he weighed in at 189 yesterday, I'm assuming he's about the same today. He's going to be facing a bigger Zach Blaber, who weighed in at 194 and a half. He had to cut the weight, make weight, so Zach's probably about 210, 215 tonight. But, you know, Zach's been off for a while, so as the fight goes on, even though the size might be an advantage, I got a feeling Andrew Buckland's going to be in better shape than Zach Blaber.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, Zach had that impressive war with Elmer Waterhan, you know, another tried and tested journeyman on the Western Canadian MMA scene. It almost seems like Zach's wants to pick these guys off. The names that, you know, the guys that have been around that you know are tough as nails, as he builds up his record and tries to improve to 7-2 with the win over Buckland here tonight.
His opponent, Zach Blaber.
We haven't seen Zach in the cage since last September when he beat Waterhead, and he is coming in on the 5-fight winning streak. Like you touched on earlier, I think we'll be curious to see where is his training at. I talked with Mitch Clark prior to the fight, who will be cornering Zach Knight, and he said for the first time in a long time, Zach's been able to put in a full training camp. So hopefully the conditioning isn't an issue, because we know Andrew's been very, very active. I mean, he's fought, you know, just at the beginning of May, February before that. He's been moving around in weight classes, and this bout, not having had to cut weight, is only going to serve him in his gas tank, and that he didn't have to starve himself yesterday or anything. He was eating a nice big bowl of spaghetti for breakfast if he wanted to. We'll see how it plays out tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Zach come in. He's on a 5-fight winning streak. And, you know, once you get that winning ways, you know, he started off with a win, but then he lost his next 2 fights to 2 very tough competitors, Jason Coutura and Chase Maxwell. But since then, he's won 5 straight. It's, you know, his first fight, I believe, at time, but I know Zach is hungry. I know he took time off. He wanted to focus on his career. He wanted to take things a little bit more serious. He got a strength and conditioning coach and improve his training partners.
Well, and just the fact that he's able to make this lower weight, I think, says a lot about the condition he's in and the training he's been putting in to get ready for this. You know, he's a big brute of a man with massive meat hook fists. People might not realize, but he's even...
Ladies and gentlemen, our 7th bout of the evening is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds and is at catch weight. Is sponsored by Tap Out and Action Moving. The man in charge when the bell rings is your referee, Mr. Vern Gorman. Introducing first to my left in the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist. He comes in at 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing at 189 pounds. He comes in with a professional MMA record of 15 victories, 9 losses, and 1 draw, representing Impact MMA from Victoria, British Columbia, Andrew Buckland. And introducing his opponent to my right in the red corner. This man is a freestyle fighter. He comes in at 6 foot even, weighing at 194.5 pounds. He comes in with a professional MMA record of 6 victories and 2 losses, representing the Hayabusa Training Center from Edmonton, Zach the Burden Blaber.
Buckland getting right in Blaber's face there. This definitely means business serious tonight. Well, Dean, the two guys getting right into each other's faces there, right?
Well, one guy anyways, Andrew Buckland, was right getting into Zach Blaber. Zach Blaber didn't even look at him.
You know, just for... Oh, and look at Blaber coming out swinging. He drops Buckland.
Oh, Blaber!
And that's it!
It's over! Zach Blaber! Very impressive! Very impressive! That right hand cut just on the temple of... Oh, cut right on the temple of Andrew Buckland. Down went Buckland and Blaber went right in there for the kick.
Here comes the big man over the top of the cage. He's just set this place on fire.
So much for cage rap.
Well, people might not realize, I was going to say, just before he started announcing, I was talking with Mitch Clark, who owns Prestige, that made the gloves tonight. He was telling me that Zach Blaber actually has bigger hands than Nick Dragage. And they had to have the gloves specially made for Zach.
That's incredible.
Yeah, no, he's definitely carrying lunch pails for fists. Well, a huge victory for Zach Blaber here tonight over Andrew Buckland, improving his record to 7-2 and extending his winning streak to 6 wins. Let's kick it up to Dean Panis for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Vern Gorman stops this bout at 10 seconds of the very first round. Your winner by knockout, Zach the Burden Blaber. Well, one thing I know for sure, Zach, we waited 9 months. This interview is going to go longer than that fight. 10 seconds, my friend. I know it's been a while, but you know when you win, you're supposed to take your mouth guard out so I can talk to you.
Dean, I've been waiting a long time to talk to you, man. This feels good.
Buddy, it was a pleasure to introduce you. I believe no one's got your name right before, so we'll start off with getting that. 9 months, my friend. I know you very well. You want to start taking your career a little bit more serious. You've stepped up the training. You've stepped up the strength and conditioning. I know you want to get to 85. You worked your ass off. And there was some doubt coming in whether or not you'd even get a fight. So Andrew Buckland stepped up. We got to give him credit, and here we are tonight, Zach.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank Andrew for taking the fight. I was training hard. Look at me, man. I look sexy now. I've been working hard. I'd like to thank all my camp. I'd like to thank my new camp, Hayabusa, Mitch Clark, Roger, Mukai. I'd like to thank Sheriff Vision. Without her help, I wouldn't be standing here at 195, that's for sure. And I also like to say a big thanks to my wife who couldn't make it because my daughter graduates tonight. Is my girls. If it wasn't for them, man, I wouldn't be here. She's the backbone to me, man.
Now, I know you got some other people to thank. You got to tell people about your after party.
Oh, our after party's at Black Sheep Pub. Let's get on and let's get dirty, baby.
Now, 10 seconds. I hope Shara's going to give you a discount. You don't need much strength and conditioning for 10 seconds. I know you want to get down to 85. 6 wins in a row for you, my friend. What's up next?
What's up next? We're going to keep going at 85. We'll see if Moyne and Harmony can get me another big fight. And I'd just like to say thanks to the fans of Edmonton, man. Every time I come here, you guys treat me fucking amazing. Now I live here, so let's get behind me. Let's do this. And also, as you see, I have no sponsors other than Black Sheep Pub. If anybody wants to sponsor a badass mother like me, give me a call.
There you go, Andrew. Now, before we hit the music, I'm going to bring in somebody Andrew mentioned. I'm going to bring in Mitch Clark. Mitch, if you want to come and join us over here, I want to talk to you a bit. Now, I know you've cornered a few guys tonight, but in just over a month from now, you're stepping back into the UFC in Calgary. Talk to us about how you've come through the ranks here. I know you've fought in this building a few times for TFC, and now you're here. UFC's coming up. How's Mitch Clark doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been training hard. I had a tough loss last time. I didn't perform like I wanted to, but I get a little chance to redeem myself down in Calgary. I really wish the UFC would come here. I think we got better fans, better venue, better everything. So hopefully UFC steps it up and comes here soon.
Now, this might be a tough question. You're 9-0 going into UFC before. You lost that first fight. Why is Mitch Clark better now than he was in December?
You get better from a loss. You don't learn anything being up. Chumps. I'm not saying any of my opponents were chumps, but I had to lose sometime. It happens. Everyone loses. Every good champion's lost. So I went down to the States, went to California, wrestled at Cal State. I was training all over, and this is the lowest I've been in weight, and I think it's going to be a good weight cut. I just want to put it on for what fans I have.